So I did mention in a couple videos beforehand that I was kind of scared of uni and I was scared about what I would see. And luckily a lot of those fears were just kind of exaggerations. Honestly, a lot of it, most of it, is just fine. There's no kind of ideological bias about things that I'm learning. Everything is kind of just straightforward. And there's a lot of emphasis on just you finding out stuff for yourself and what you agree with and everything. There's always got to be something stupid about it. So I have a couple slides from one of my classes, and I'm going to put them up on the screen now, and then you can think for yourself what is wrong with those. And you see my problem. Because there's all that white guilt. I mean, in the textbook, I read the chapters that are supposed to be read after the lecture, and they're just everything that you see about, like, if you go over to anybody's channel that does stuff with this and you see them responding to people who have guilt about their gender or their race or whatever, that shit's just all after that textbook. It's everywhere. And then they're talking about like intersectionality and stuff. All of the buzzwords are there. That's my problem. And with the other assessments that I have, it's okay to disagree. Like, if you have the question, it's okay to disagree with the question. You can basically respond to the question, that's the thing. You look at what you can find through academic studies and everything, and then you come to the conclusion and write that down. As long as you can technically write an essay and write a response properly, and you know how to use your language well, and you are actually addressing what's being asked of you, then that's fine. That's most of them. Most of them are just dependent on what proof you can find and what evidence you can find, and then molding your response around that. But this one, it says that if there's anything ever to do with whiteness in one of my assignments, I have to agree that whiteness is a thing. I have to agree that it is part of the process of racism and bigotry and all that. I have to agree that white privilege is a thing. I have to acknowledge it. And they didn't exactly say this, but it kind of sounds like I would get marked down a lot if I don't acknowledge that or if I argue against it. Like with the stuff that I've been saying about how there's just all sorts of other privileges and it's not white people evil. If I say that, that's not gonna be right. I have to acknowledge that white privileges are oh so touchy subject and oh my god, it's real and we have to acknowledge that. I mean, white privilege, that term is bad enough, but whiteness? Like the BuzzFeed thing, whiteness? I mean, imagine if they changed it to blackness. Everybody would just set the uni on fire and start screaming about racism. But if it's whiteness, it's fine. And look, I get it. I understand all of this stuff, and don't worry, I know better than to just get brainwashed by all of it. I'm not gonna come out of uni talking like Lacey Green or something. And all of the people who are in the room, there were a lot of people in that hall, so I didn't see all of them, but a lot of them just looked like they were just like, okay, I'll just write about it because it's part of the assessment, whatever. They didn't look like they cared. They didn't look like it was a new concept. I think most of them just were like, I just don't give a shit, let him prattle on about whatever. I'm not gonna feel any guilt, but I'll just write it down because it's part of the assessment. A lot of them just weren't in that SJW sense, I guess. And that's good. That is really good. The last thing that I wanted to see was everybody just nodding about it. But despite the fact that I know better, and despite the fact that a lot of people seem to not give a shit about that stuff, I still can't help but feel as if I'm drowning in it, because that doesn't change the fact that there's still this person who is in this position of power in education who is supposed to be teaching me about how to think and how it's okay to just completely deconstruct all of my thoughts and then build them up again with controversial topics and topics that go against things that other people say, and to explore things and to actually just, what does it mean to think? What does it mean to have beliefs? All of that open stuff. And yet they're teaching me this very precise thing and telling me that you have to agree with it. And it's just sad that me, an 18-year-old who doesn't know jack shit about the world, I know that, I don't know jack shit, but even I can look at those whiteness and privilege, fucking gender and all that stupid shit that they're teaching me arguments, and then I know better. And then I can find stuff that is more reliable than the stuff that they're using. The stupid buzzword scholarly articles that don't mean shit, that look like a BuzzFeed employee had used a thesaurus and then wrote a university paper. It's just sad that I go to a university where scholarly intellectualism is supposed to be a high priority, and even I can look at that shit and say it's bullshit with one word. And yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, I guess. It's not really that bad. I mean, I don't see this kind of ideology stuff like everywhere on campus. I think that it's actually pretty good. I think that I'm pretty lucky compared to the stuff in America that I'm seeing, or the stuff in the UK that I'm seeing, and all of that protesty shit. I'm really happy with that. But there's still that one department, that one class that I have that is really grinding my gears. And I guess I'm just having this kind of battle with my thoughts at the moment because I've just, I'll write the assignments, do whatever, and then I'll just pass so that I can then just move on from university and do what I want to do so that it doesn't get into any conflict there. But at the same time, I am so tempted to just disagree and keep disagreeing and write it precisely fine. No insults, nothing. Nothing like that. Write it properly. Do everything I'm supposed to do properly, but disagree. Disagree and then see what they do. Because because that's really what it is with me now. Ever since I started looking at this stuff, I realized that I don't want to be quiet about it. Ever since watching stuff like the stuff that Jordan B. Peterson does, I realized that I don't want to just kind of sit back and let it go. I don't want to do that. Because that's not the sort of person I am. And even with this channel, when I first went into university, I was thinking about whether I should keep doing this. Or whether I should just actually do something normal. Or whether I should just stop doing this and just put my head down. And I realized that I can't do that. Why am I even asking that question? So I guess it just makes me feel a bit uncomfortable when there's two things that I want to do, and I'm not sure which way to go. And it's not just the entirety of that course either. Most of the course is just fine. It's just sort of stuff like, isn't society weird? Isn't it weird how we do certain things? And that kind of stuff. It's actually pretty okay. It's actually interesting what I expected it to be. But that's kind of even more scary and more dangerous to me, because instead of just shoving this regressive shit in your face, just like, hey, this is a thing, you have to believe it, they kind of sneak it underneath everything else. Like, they'll do normal lessons, and then they'll kind of, while they're introducing you to new concepts, you know how they'll be like, here's an example, you stood in a line to get something from a shop before. You stood in a queue, right? And everyone will go, yeah, that's the thing, that's a real thing. You know how when they introduce new ideas, they introduce the kind of ideas that you recognize and then use that to build upon the new ideas to kind of introduce it to you? That's what they kind of do as well. It's like white privilege and whiteness is the thing. We all acknowledge that, hey, here's this new idea we're introducing. Don't pay attention to anything I just said down there. You know it's true anyway, just accept it. It's like there's no room for contradiction there. That's the thing that bugs me. There's no room for contradiction with that specific topic. Whiteness is a specific topic that you cannot disagree with, that you have to acknowledge in the basis of your understanding of the world. And the whole everything as a social construct kind of thing didn't actually pop up as much as I thought, but it's starting to now. I think I forgot who it was, if it was the lecturer or if it was just in a textbook, but someone said that something to do with biology and gender, and then had social construct very closely tied together with it. And I'm also doing psychology, so it's just really weird to see these two departments contradict themselves like that. Psychology examining biological things, and then things about conditioning, and then how they tie together, and all of the stuff that's pretty cool. And then you go into the other class, and it's just social constructs everywhere. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm still in that class. I was kind of contemplating the idea of picking a class, and then seeing how far that kind of ideology was in there. Like, specifically picking a class that had that in it. And I am actually kind of happy that I am in one, because one, it gives me plenty of fodder for new videos to attack it. It also kind of gives me this idea of how far the ideology has been embedded in, say, the people who are lecturing, or the academia, or whatever. It's a nice first-hand kind of experience to see for myself that kind of thing. Especially coming from a place where I already know that this stuff is bullshit and I'm not gonna try and believe it. I can just observe it, really. I think that that's a really interesting thing as well. And even though the class is really, really, really annoying, I think that I can sacrifice my sanity a little bit for the curiosity, because that is pretty interesting. And this is kind of the perfect opportunity, and it's not like I'm really gonna get another one if I say dropped out or something like that. Honestly, I just wish that Jordan Peterson was my lecturer or someone like him. It would be so interesting. I've watched some of the videos on his channel, and then I've watched videos that people have of him just giving talks and things like that, and I wish I was there. I wish that school and uni was like that, like what it should be. People actually trying to challenge how you thought and what you think, and making it better for you to find yourself and who you are, with actually learning about stuff and not just having stuff taught to you so that you can memorize it and pass so that people have done their job and now they don't have to worry about you anymore. And I do also blame the regressive ideology for that as well, like partly. Because if you look at it, people aren't really interested in engaging people, they're just interested in you listening to them and parroting back what they've said in a conversation. That's what the echo chamber thing comes from. They're just interested in people being them and saying, you have to become my thoughts first before I even acknowledge you or give you rights or anything. That's really what it's come down to. So that's really where that kind of just copy and paste this and you'll get good marks kind of attitude in schools and universities that I see that I have a problem with comes from. Obviously there's no just one motive to everything. There's a bunch of reasons that kind of come together and then evolve over time. So I'm not saying that regressives, everything is their fault. I'm just saying that that kind of belief system is kind of responsible for that a bit. I don't know if I'm making sense here that much. But yeah, I suppose I've been at university for about 5 weeks now, so I thought I might as well do a kind of checkup on that. If I keep getting really crazy shit from that class, would you like me to do some follow-up videos on it? I can show slides from that, or even just summarize the information and then kind of go over what's being taught if you'd like. And I suppose as well, I kind of want some advice, I guess, just from someone who's kind of been through it already. And I know that a lot of people are like, well, I've been through university a long time ago, so it's changed a lot. But really, a lot of the regressive stuff has been in uni for a long time, just kind of creeping up slowly. So even if you were in uni a long time ago, you still would kind of have a bit of experience with it. Maybe you didn't notice it at the time and now you look back on it and you did. What were your thoughts about it? And how did you deal with it? Just kind of curious there. And I suppose I'll end with that. I'm coming up to a break where I have about a week that's just free before class goes back again, so I can actually start uploading proper videos like I used to do instead of doing these ones. But yeah, I just thought I would do this. And I hope that maybe it's provided a bit of insight into if you're not in this country and you don't know what the universities are like, maybe that's helped. Or maybe you're just happy to know that I haven't been brainwashed by anybody. Or you're happy to know that my head hasn't exploded. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever you took from this video is fine. And I will see you in the comments.